Hi, and welcome to another video by Jim the Car Guy. Today we have a 2003, it's a Toyota Tundra with a 4.7 liter engine. The problem we have with this one today is the customer came, you know what? Let's get your opinion on what you would do in my situation. I had this customer come in. He's been here before. He's a little bit tight with money, which I understand. He came into me yesterday, dropped the vehicle off, and he told me to replace this sensor, the oxygen sensor. I've never seen this brand before. I don't recommend using an unbranded oxygen sensor, but he handed it to me and said, don't check it on the computer, don't clear the code, just install the oxygen sensor, and that's all he wants to do, and he doesn't want to pay for it. My question to you is, what would you do? Would you fix it? Would you send it out the door and pass on this vehicle and not do it? Or would you do what the customer requests and go ahead and repair it? I am going to put the O2 sensor in. He wants me to change it. He tells me that the code was a P0051, I believe, was a bank 2 sensor 1, a heater circuit. With that type of a code, most likely it is the sensor, but you never know. You really should do your diagnostics on it first before you go ahead and do anything. But the customer doesn't want to pay for anything. He just wants me to go ahead and change the sensor. So let me know what you think, if you would do it or if you'd pass on it, or what you think you would do. I am going to go ahead and do it. Like I said, I have a suspicion now, and I didn't look at this yet, but I have a suspicion that that sensor is probably rusted in there. This thing has over 200,000 miles on it. I got a suspicion that this sensor, excuse me, I have a suspicion that this sensor is probably extremely rusty. Otherwise, I think he would have put it in himself. That's what I think. But, you know, sometimes customers don't tell you the whole truth. They tell you what they want you to know, and then you have to try to figure it out from there. But whatever it is, the customer's always right, so we all got to lift this up. Let's take a look at it. I'm going to bring you along, and we're going to see if I'm going to pull out the little bit of hair I have left on my head, because like I said, I have a suspicion that this thing is in pretty bad shape. So, all right, let's take a look at it, and we'll see where we go. Okay, so this is underneath the vehicle. That's sensor number 2, which is in the back of the cat, and this is sensor number 1. As you can see, sensor number 1, somebody's already been in here, cut the wires off, and as you can guess, stripped out that oxygen sensor. So I'm going to try getting on there with a socket, and we'll see if we can get it out. So all right, let me get set up, and we'll continue. Okay, let me explain to you what happened with this vehicle. You saw how somebody had cut that wiring off, and they tried to take it off. That oxygen sensor is almost totally rounded off on the bottom. The reason that it's rounded off is because if you don't use the correct tool from the start, you're going to have a problem. I guarantee what this guy did is he took a socket like this that's made specifically to take off oxygen sensors. But what happens is when you put this sensor on here, it's supposed to go in here just like this and fit nice and tightly. This fits fairly tight, but that one up there, it's a little rusted, so it didn't fit exactly tight. Now you see this slot that's inside here? When you get a sensor like this and the sensor is in the manifold for 200,000 miles, it does become very tight to get that out. What happened is most likely he got on this with a ratchet, and he tried to open to get this sensor out. But when you put extra force on this, these jaws tend to open up. Even if you have a good socket, like a snap-on socket, that does happen. I also use a 1/2-inch drive socket as well. This one I'm not going to do that with, and the reason I'm not going is because it's already stripped off, it's already rounded off. So we're not going to do that. The one that I use, which is the best for me, is this one here. Not that I'm pushing one over the other. I think this one is made by Matco, or I'm not even sure. I can't read what it says on it, but I don't know if it's a Matco or it's an S&K or what it is. But this one seems to work the best. When I get on the oxygen sensor with this one here, it never opens up these jaws. You can see how thick this is. So I'm not going to say never. 99% of the time, these jaws never open up and you can get this out. In this case, I'm not going to use it on there, and the reason I'm not going to use it is because it's already rounded off up underneath there. So chances are this is not going to work as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here with a socket like this. It catches it all the way around. They already cut the wiring off underneath the bottom there, so it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. We're not going to need it. Oh, and just so you know, I got a feeling that the sensor that he bought is the wrong sensor, because look at the size of that lead. See how long it is? The lead that's up there that he cut off is about 6 inches long. So I doubt this is going to plug into the harness, but we'll see. He's going to really cry when I call and tell him that this is the wrong sensor, because I'm sure he probably got this on the computer someplace for next to nothing. All right, so enough BS. Let's get up underneath there. Let's put this socket on there. We are going to use a 1/2-inch drive because I know it's very tight. I am going to use a breaker bar, such as this here, to give me extra leverage. So we're going to put this on here. We're going to get up underneath the bottom, and we're going to crack it loose. All right, let's see what happens. Come on, take a walk underneath there, and let's see what goes on. We're going to make sure we get our socket on there nice and tight, and then we'll crack it loose. Actually, wow, to be honest, it came out really easy. I think I might have spoken too soon. The bar is good to break it loose, and then we'll get on to the regular socket. You just rock it back and forth. Sometimes you can get it out. Okay, and that is our old sensor. All right, let me unplug that harness now, and we'll see if the connector is going to work. Okay, let's give it a shot from the top here, and we'll see how it does. Most of the time you can gain access to it, yeah, pretty easily up underneath here. So this is our plug now. We're going to try to unplug it. We're just going to push it on a tab. Oh yeah, it came right out, and it pops right out. All right, we just push on that little tab. But before we do anything, let me get that new sensor and make sure that we plug in okay. As you can see, look at the size of that cable versus this one. Would I use it on my own car? Never. Would I recommend the customer to use it? Never. But I'm going to make a phone call to this guy and talk to him. All right, it does plug in. So let me lift this back up. You know what? I'm going to make a phone call to this guy here. I don't like using a cable like this. This to me is ridiculous to have such an extra amount of cable. I guarantee this is a universal type thing where it fits 30 different cars. I'm going to recommend to him to get the correct sensor for the job. This is ridiculous to have that much. So let me make a phone call and we'll see what happens, and we'll be right back. Okay, just want to give you an update. Just got off the phone with the owner of this vehicle here. And as I kind of suspected, he wants me to put this one on the vehicle. Even though it has that cable, he wants me to put it on because he can't return it, and he got it for a good price. So we'll see if his good price O2 sensor even works. So, all right, let's go underneath there and let's do what the customer wants us to do. Okay, so, well, before you put an oxygen sensor in, always make sure you have the anti-seize or never seize on the threads right here. It makes it go in a lot easier. This one already has it, so we are going to screw this in by hand now as far as we can, and then we'll tighten it up. Okay. got a zip tie. We're just gonna tie this up and out of the way here. Like I said, I would never do this to my own vehicle, but the customer didn't want to go for the correct sensor. All right, that's that. Okay, so that's it. We got the sensor in. We zip tied the cable up and out of the way so it was not going to touch into the exhaust system. And like I said, would I do it on my own car? Absolutely not. All right, that's the old sensor. And that's it. We're all set. So we're going to take it for a drive now. Now, the customer does not want me to even turn the light off. He wants to just, I guess, do it himself or whatever. So I'm not even going to hook up to it and see what's going on with it. And lower it down, out the door, and on to the next one. All right, thanks for watching. As always, see you on the next one.